BP Reloaded 2011. This is episode 2. I call this getting smoothing out the rough edges. After like a week of training with Nelson and Raphael, I just put Richard in the mix. Now Richard poses a whole different kind of approach because some people do structured training to where the pace is good and the balls are, you know, kind of clean and legitimate. Not Richard. Richard is I call him a competition practice partner, to where the way he does his blocks, he's going after the ball. He's not playing the ball easy. Like if the ball is not proper, he'll put side spin on it. If he can stab it, he'll stab it with a little bit more spin, which makes it a little bit more of a challenge. But in the end, it really it benefits, because when you look at the kind of training ball that you get when you're training and the kind of ball that you get in competition, Richard ball leans a lot closer to that. You know, it's just you have to have the right approach when you're training with him, because you may want structured clean balls and that's not what he does. Sometimes what he does is a little bit unorthodox, but in the end it really does have its benefit if you look at it properly. So, you know, like playing with him, he really pounds the ball. Like he really hits the ball, not as much spin, but he really does have some pop on the ball. So this is just a little bit of a highlight of just like our warm up. You know, check it out. All right, now if you look at some of Richard's blocks on the forehand, he doesn't use the classic stroke. He used more of like this flat block, the way it's just the arm, where that can be a benefit to you in training is that you really have to watch his racket. For most people, you can watch the body movement, but for him, at one point he can either go cross court or he can go down the line. So you really got to be careful with that. And because he has that unique quality, I decided to use that against me so that I could really get much better at what I wanted to work on while having him do that block. So the first drill I did is from the middle of the table, I'm going to loop to his forehand, and he's going to play one to the middle and one to either corner. And I'll go ahead and apologize now for the bad angle. I really should have moved the camera so that you can get a good idea. But for this drill, he gets a chance to go one to the middle and either go wide to my forehand or wide to my backhand. And I'm focusing on taking 2 full steps over, making a loop, and returning back to the middle. So take a look at some of the highlights here. Okay, now pause. Now, there's certain times where if I loop the ball right to his racket, he can kind of block the ball to the backhand, moving outside the angle. So, if you ever play a person, that's something you have to be aware of. If they have that block to where they don't use their technique, they use just their arm to make the block. And on the same token, if you loop really wide, it's hard for them to get that angle. They're going to most likely go across court. So you can kind of telegraph where the block is going based on where you want to place your loop. But it's just a fantastic drill to help you balance yourself right in the middle of the table without trying to feel like you need to lean to the left or right. And for this drill, I told you from the last episode, I've been wanting to do more backhand loops down the line. So I focused on making sure that when that ball came down the line, that I didn't make a stab at it. I actually turned and made, a backhand loop down the line. Okay, on the drill 2, I think for this drill, what I wanted to focus on was just balancing the table. You either got the backhand, you got the forehand area, and then you have the wide forehand. So what I did for this drill is opening up with the backhand, make any amount of backhand loops, and when he goes to the forehand, he can either go middle, forehand, and then come back, or he can go forehand, middle, and then come back. And my focus was making the 2 steps, making a loop, 2 steps out, and then coming back. And what you have to understand about this drill is that the ball for the middle, you're actually not moving, you're more shifting your weight. So one of them you're shifting, and then the other one you're moving. Or you're moving and then you're coming back to that area to make a loop and come back. So take a look at these highlights. Okay, on the drill 3. Now, I wanted to have more of a random drill for this drill, but I wanted to have the option to go free. So I think I started with an opening loop, and then once the ball came back to my backhand, I make backhand loops, and it's just free. And again, like I said from episode 1, I'm trying to find out what is going to be my approach when I make a backhand loop down the line, instead of always leaning with my forehand. And sometimes I got winners, and sometimes I got good setups, and I really didn't take too many bad plays down the line. So take a look at those highlights so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. Okay, now on to Richard's favorite part of the training session. He has to play a practice match. And if anybody's ever trained with me, I'm notorious for not playing practice matches, because what I do is I break down the match, and every drill that I do is structured like a match. So I don't really like to focus on the score is 7-all, I want to win. What I like to say is that I need to work on this sequence being a little bit more comfortable for me, so I'll structure a drill that way. And I don't really like to play practice matches, but Richard loves to play practice matches. I mean, of everybody that I've ever trained with my career, he's the most intense doing the practice match. And I think where that can be a disadvantage is that you forget what you want to work on because you want to win the game. So I find myself kind of going in and out of consciousness, to where I have a couple of games where I go hard, and the other couple of games I kind of give up the game because I want to work on these different things. And I said, with my theme being more backhand loops down the line, I really focused on not serving as much straight underspin and trying to serve serves to where I would get a flip and I'd make a backhand loop first and then follow it with a forehand. And I had, you know, some great plays on that. So just take a look at some of the highlights here. Okay, that's the highlight. So that's kind of the end of this second episode. Stay tuned to where now I'm going to my man Raphael. the best practice partner that I've had, just like a solid practice partner. So now we'll do a session with Raphael, and then we'll talk about what benefit he has. So stay tuned. I'm going to try to make this thing fun. I want to try to make it entertaining. I want to try to make it inspirational. Stay tuned. Peace. Pace. BP Reloaded.